I'm happy to share that we have Mr. Danlami Umaru Basharu who has joined us. Welcome, Mr. Basharu. Before handing over to Mr. Danlami, I would give a brief introduction of Mr. Danlami Basharu. Mr. Danlami Umaru Basharu is a chair of Committee on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities, whose term commenced in January 2015. Danlami has been country rapporteur to Uganda, Morocco, Oman, South Africa, Senegal, and Niger Republic. Danlami is a lawyer who obtained several educational degrees from the UK, including from Cambridge University, and is a fellow of Cambridge Commonwealth Trust.
Where is Biodun?
I've unmuted it now. Can you talk? I don't know.
Don't worry. I'm coming. Hello?
Hello, Mr. Danlami, you are audible. You are audible.
Oh, thank you very much. I'm really sorry for all the hula balu about this.
It's okay. We
But
can
I want to thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to make some remarks on this. The Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities and its optional protocol, ARES 61106, as you know, was adopted on 13 December 2006 by the United Nations and was opened for signature on 30 March 2007. It is the first comprehensive human rights treaty of the 21st century and is the first human rights convention to be open for signature by regional integration organizations. The convention entered into force on 3 May 2008. India ratified the convention on 1st October 2007. The convention was the work of organizations of persons with disabilities, civil society organizations, and government to change attitudes and approaches to persons with disabilities. It adopted a new conception of looking at persons with disabilities as objects of charity, medical model, and social protection towards viewing persons with disabilities as subjects with rights, capable of claiming those rights and making decisions for themselves based on their free and informed consent, as well as being active members of society. Around 15% of the world's population, or estimated 1 billion people, live with disabilities. They are the world's largest minority. 80% of persons with disabilities live in developing countries, according to the United Nations Development Program. The convention is a human rights approach with a social development dimension and reaffirms that all persons with disabilities, all persons with all types of disabilities must enjoy all human rights and fundamental freedoms. According to the first article of the convention, the purpose of the present convention is to promote, protect, and ensure the full and equal enjoyment of all human rights and fundamental freedoms by all persons with disabilities, and to promote respect for their inherent dignity. Thus, persons with disabilities were no longer to be observed from the realms of the charity and medical models, but to be seen as people deserving of rights. This was a completely new paradigm shift which persons with disabilities were prepared to step into. This was what made the convention the fastest negotiated human rights treaty. Making the convention real in India. India had had legislation on disability before now, but with the convention in place, it was prepared to rewrite its laws to conform with the new convention. 25 years ago, India enacted the Persons with Disabilities Act 1995, enacted under Article 253 of the Constitution, which it reenacted under again under the Rights of Persons with Disabilities Act 2016 to give effect to the United Nations Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities and for matters connected therewith or incidental thereto. The Act provides for education, employment, creation of barrier-free environment, social security, affirmative action in various ways, and other areas that are necessary for the for the inclusion of people with disabilities in the society. Although we can say that the Persons with Disabilities Act has had some advances in the fortunes of persons with disabilities in India, there still remains a long way to go in providing necessary employment and accessibility for persons with disabilities in India. For instance, quote, though persons with disabilities constitute a significant 5 to 6% of India's population, employment needs remain unmet in spite of the People with Disabilities Act, which reserves for them 3% of government jobs. That's from the NCP-AD. India submitted its first country report to the Committee on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities in November 2015 and participated in the 22nd session of the CRPD in September 2019, which I presided over. The appearance before the committee is to tell the committee what it has done since ratification to implement the elements of the convention. I shall not bore you with everything that was discussed, but just to pick out the essential elements. We were concerned about equality and non-discrimination, women with disabilities, accessibility, education, and work and employment. We were concerned about the lack of effective redress in cases of discrimination on the basis of disability and multiple or intersecting discrimination, including gender-based discrimination against women with disabilities. The disability stereotypes, stigma, and lack of awareness about multiple and intersecting discrimination on women and girls with disabilities, particularly those with psychosocial or intellectual disabilities, and the lack of inclusion of women with disabilities in general and disability-inclusive policies. The slow progress in improving accessibility to transportation, physical environment, and information and communication to technologies. The lack of awareness and capacity building of all actors in the justice system concerning the rights of persons with disabilities, and the absence of measures to accommodate persons with disabilities as judges or other interlocutors within the judiciary. We were also concerned about the rejection from and bullying of children with disabilities, particularly children affected by leprosy in schools and cases of sexual harassment in the workplace against women with disabilities. The intention of the committee was to proffer some solutions as to how India could go about making the society better for its people with disabilities. Thus, on equality and non-discrimination, we called upon the Indian authorities to ensure access to effective legal remedies and redress, including compensation in cases of disability-based discrimination and the denial of reasonable accommodation. It was also to ensure that full and effective participation of women with disabilities in decision and policy making at all levels, particularly within the National Commission for Women and State Women Commission. It was also to ensure accessibility requirements in public procurement legislation and policies for goods and services. It was also important that India ensures training for members of the judiciary and ensure that persons with disabilities form a large chunk of the judiciary. It was to take measures to prevent rejection, stigmatization, stigma, and bullying of children with disabilities, particularly children affected by leprosy. And finally, it was to take effective measures to promote employment of persons with disabilities in the open labor market, particularly persons with disabilities from marginalized groups. Transition from principle to practice. We can say that India since 1995 has had legislation which on the face of it appears very practical, but it appears meeting the standards it set for itself has been difficult. We note that Indian judges have been very robust at reading into the letter and spirit of the cases that came before them. In spite of 3% reservation for employment, the disability groups had to resort to court action to ensure that their rights were met. Thankfully, in most cases, the outcome was positive. For example, in 2003, when two persons with disabilities who were qualified on merit for Indian Administrative Service IAS were relegated to Indian Information Service IIS, NCP, PEDP, and Disabled Rights Group DRG launched a campaign against the blatant discrimination, which led to the then Prime Minister to intervene and resolve the issue. Another case filed before the Delhi High Court ruled that 3% of the quote, total strength of employees in any government establishment should be persons with disabilities. Further, in another case in 2014, the Supreme Court ruled that 3% reservation for disabled candidates are not only at the stage of their appointments, but also for departmental promotions. The court held that the center, states, and union territories were obligated to implement the rules of reservation for this class in the matters of appointments, selection, direct recruitment, deputation, and also for promotions. However, given these landmark cases, we continue to note the infringements of the law. Why should this be so? Is it that the judges are not accrediting themselves very well? We note infringements against women and girls, for example. A small 2004 survey in Orissa, India, found that virtually all of the women and girls with disabilities were beaten at home. 25% of women with intellectual disabilities had been raped, and 6% of women with disabilities had been forcibly sterilized. We also note that the private sector proves rather difficult to penetrate. In my opinion, I believe all laws that are passed in the land are for the benefit of the generality of the persons in the land. It applies to all persons, regardless of their status. Government needs to provide incentives to the private sector to ensure that they employ persons with disabilities and make it difficult for them to opt out of legislations. It should be the job of the private sector to ensure that as many persons with disabilities as possible are given jobs under their employ. What is most needed is creating awareness among both the public and private sectors, awareness to understand the needs of persons with disabilities in all aspects of life. I thank you very much for listening.